Welcome back to another episode on the See Through It podcast. I'm your host, Brian Sales. It is Friday night. It's a cold, wet Friday night in Indiana, South Bend, Indiana. But anyway, we got some sports to talk about. We got some stuff to talk about, some stuff to go through. As you see, I got my hoodie. When I say we putting some things together. You see the man right there. Let me see. There we go. So we working over it. We got some, like I said, we got some stuff planned. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into this conversation of what we got going on for this upcoming weekend in college football. The NBA preseason's almost over. MLB. Like I said, I'm not going to talk about the Yankees until they get back into the World Series. But they got a tough one. We got a tough one. Houston Astros. I don't know. We've got to get past Garrett Cole and Justin Verlander. That pitching's tough. If we can get some consistency and if the bats are awake, I don't see us having any issues. But it's going to be all hands on deck. Pitching, batting, everyone's going to have to be on deck. So we ain't going to dive into the baseball thing, but my Yankees are looking good. Atlanta lost. Got St. Louis. The Dodgers are not in there, and so I wanted someone easy to come out of that division. So I think that the NL is going to be set up to win. But we'll get into that if the Yankees make it, if the Yankees get to the next round. So we'll talk about all that later. But we're going to talk about some NBA and all the controversy that's going on in the NBA. Starting off with the Houston Rockets owner making his comments about the protesters in China, using his freedom, his right to have free speech. He's using that and made some comments and got the NBA into some trouble. Adam Silver didn't really like the comments or whatever. He didn't like that it was said. Not gonna say that he didn't like the comments, but he didn't like that it was said without, I guess, checking with him or checking with whoever. It did something with the relationship between China and the NBA. The only issue I have with that is don't promote free speech if people can only use free speech when it's convenient for you. The NBA doesn't want the players commenting on things that are happening in China because it's affecting their bottom line. The deal that they have with China right now is going to bring in billions of dollars. Don't make no mistake about it, folks. This is a money move. They don't want their players talking because they don't want to ruin the relationship of the money that's going to be brought in to the NBA. The NBA doesn't care what the protesters are protesting about. They're looking at that dollar. Nothing up. They're looking at that dollar. They're looking at that dollar amount. All of a sudden, they don't want the players talking. All of a sudden, the owners can't speak out. But everyone here can speak out against the president and anything else that's going on that they don't like. Remember, the NBA boycotted North Carolina. They was going to remove the All-Star game because of things that was unjust, that they felt was unjust. North Carolina wasn't going to bring in $1 billion. So they shunned North Carolina. China? They're not going to throw that market away. They're not going to throw that market away. So don't be blinded by the nonsense. This is about money. This is about money. This is about the Houston Rockets owner almost costing the NBA billions of dollars. This is what this is about. And all of a sudden the players don't have nothing to say about nothing. They've been outspoken on anything and everything. Freedom, the right to speak. Freedom of speech. And now no one has nothing to say. Come on, folks. This is about the money. This is about that green dollar. The NBA does not care what those people are protesting about. They want some of that money. Bottom line. I mean, it's true. That's what it is. So I this morning I sent out I wasn't expecting him to respond or even pay any attention, but I tweeted at LeBron James and I was like, I was expecting you to say something. The man that's been speaking out about everything. He's always have something to say. Uh, even if he doesn't know what's going on, he has some of the facts or partial of the facts. He always has something to say, and he had nothing to say about what's going on in China. Just seems a little funny to me. Seems a little fake. Everything is money driven. It's sad. This is your platform. You speak on anything. You spoke on for the college kids that's dealing with the NCAA. You spoke on about Trayvon Martin. You spoke on many other things, many other issues, and now you have nothing to say. It just seems I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, we move on. I just want people to understand that move is a money move. It has nothing to do with nothing else. The NBA does not care about the protesters in China. It's a money move. They're not going to mess up their pockets. They're going to do whatever China wants to do so they make sure they get that deal. Whatever the deal is or whatever, keep the flow of money coming. Whatever they're going to do, whatever they need to do. Shut up and play basketball. That's what they're going to do. Shut up and play basketball. And that's what's been going on. They shut up and they play basketball. So we'll see how this goes. How this goes throughout the year, because China has the year of whatever, and certain teams, I guess Golden State and Houston, they usually get a specified jersey for that special day. So we don't know if that's going to be affected but we will see. The NBA season will be starting around the corner, so we will definitely see what is going on with all of that. Up next, we discussing some NFL games. In fact, no, we'll shift to that last, because that's just me making my predictions. Not real, no real big talk on the NFL, but we'll shift that to last. But we'll go ahead and jump into college football. I got on my list. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, six big games for this week. The college football season has been kind of light this year. We haven't seen a lot of big games. We've seen the one LSU, Texas. What other games would you say that was big? I would have to say it would be the LSU and Texas game. Texas A&M, Clemson, that didn't live up to what it's supposed to be. That was definitely not what we all thought that was going to be. Notre Dame, Georgia, I guess you can throw that into the mix. That was a good game. Other than that, we haven't seen any football games. Last week we had Auburn and Florida. Both teams looked like they didn't want to win. Very undisciplined game. But other than that, we haven't had any real big whoa. We haven't had any whoa moments or oh my. We haven't had any of those moments. So maybe in this week we will have some. And the first game that I got on the list is Hawaii and Boise State. And I know you probably like Hawaii, Boise State. What? Nobody's even watching that game. I am. I've always been a fan of watching Hawaii all the way back to Colt Brennan days. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys probably don't even know who that is, but Colt Brennan took Hawaii all the way to the Sugar Bowl when they played Georgia. They got destroyed, but Colt Brennan broke the passing record. He was out there slinging the ball all game. He did that for 3 years at Hawaii and destroyed the passing record. So I was a fan of Hawaii. Like I said, I'm a fan of the sport. My team is Alabama, but I'm a fan of competition and amazing things, talent. I like seeing that. So I like watching Hawaii. But the things that they've done already, they've taken out 2 Pac-12 teams. I'm pretty sure they were not picked in any of those games, and they almost took out Washington. They had a bad game, but they could have beat Washington. So Boise State and Hawaii. If Hawaii beats Boise State, that takes with how the top four is panning out. We might have some teams that might get some losses, and if Boise State already gets a loss, they're already gone. UCF, Central Florida, gone already with their two losses. They was going after the first loss. We don't know who might be out of the non-power five, who might be a threat to have that conversation. Well, do they deserve to get in? We don't know. This game could definitely highlight that for us. We got, oh my goodness, I keep hitting my mic. We got Oklahoma, Texas. Um, I'm torn between this one. I don't know if it's going to be a good game. I know it's going to be a good game, but I don't know who's going to show up. Are the offense going to show up? Or the defense is going to show up? Does Oklahoma have a defense this year? Do they have a defense this year? We haven't really seen them play anyone, but they haven't given up. The last game that they played against Kansas, they gave up 20 points to Kansas. Wasn't expecting that. But they gave up 20 points to Kansas. Texas, since the loss to LSU, they've been solid. They've been a solid team. Can they rebound? Like I said, I wasn't expecting Texas to lose to LSU, but they lost, and they got to play. They can't lose any more games. If they want to be in that playoff contention, they can't lose any more games. And this one definitely, if they lose now, that's it. I don't see them. I don't see a two-loss Big 12 team getting into the playoffs. I don't think. First of all, their schedule doesn't hold enough weight for them to get into the playoffs. I mean, they'll definitely have to maybe play Oklahoma again in the Big 12 championship, but that won't catapult them to the number 4 spot. I definitely don't see that. So if Texas loses tomorrow, playoffs hopes gone. It's down the drain. Unless a lot of things will have to happen for the rest of the season. Alabama will have to lose 2 games. LSU would have to lose 2 games. Georgia would have to lose 2 games. Florida, we still got Florida up there. Ohio State would have to lose 2 games. A lot of teams, it would have to be a handful of teams that would have to lose 2 games for a Big 12 team with 2 losses to get in. Notre Dame would have to lose another game for everything to fall in place. I don't see a Big 12 team with 2 losses getting into because the schedule and the conference that doesn't hold that type of weight for them to get 2 teams into the playoffs. And that was a tough loss for Texas to have against LSU. Tough loss, but I don't see them winning against Oklahoma. Jalen Hurts is playing out of his mind. He's in the right system. All the comparisons between him and Tua, all that needs to stop. They're playing in 2 different conferences, 2 different systems, 2 different coaches. They're 2 different types of quarterbacks. The comparisons don't need to happen. Let Jalen be great in Oklahoma. Let Tua be great in Alabama. That's what it boils down to. There's no reason to keep bringing those 2 up every week. At the end on Saturday, there's no reason to do it. I know everyone wants to do it because Jalen left. Who you got? Skip Bayless always talking about Nick Saban is regretting letting Jalen leave. Like, ain't nobody thinking about that. Only the people that are trying to bait people into getting into that type of argument are thinking about that. No one's thinking about that. Let that go. Jalen's doing great things in Oklahoma. I'm proud of him. He's doing good things in Oklahoma. I believe Oklahoma wins this game. If he had, the one thing is for sure, if Jalen comes out in that Oklahoma game and balls out of control, I'm talking about like 300 passing yards and maybe even $150 on the ground. Jalen probably would win the Heisman off that game. Plus off what he's done already. But he comes in does very well in that game against Texas, I don't see them giving the Heisman. I mean, Tua would have to play out his mind, and a lot of his games not even on TV right now, so he would have to play out his mind to be able to get that Heisman. I right now I believe the Heisman race. We'll dive into the Heisman race a little bit closer to November. I'm not going to talk about Heisman, but I'm liking what Jalen is doing in Oklahoma. I like what Jalen is doing in Oklahoma. It's almost equal to a comeback. Like he lost his starting job. He lost his starting job to Tua. Came back the following season, and he's taken this Oklahoma team, and they're doing big things right now. Even though they haven't played anyone, I understand that. He's still putting up the numbers. There's tons of teams that haven't played anyone, and they look sloppy. There's people that have played no one, and they look sloppy. So remember that. The next game we got, I like this Michigan State-Wisconsin game. I think this game is set up for Michigan State. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I feel like this game is much more their type of game style. Wisconsin wants to line up and punch you in the mouth. Michigan State wants to line up and hope that you would throw punches back and forth with them. They don't really want to play on the outside or get vertical like that. They want to be in the phone booth and just punch it out. I feel like this game sets up very nice for Michigan State. Do they have enough offense? That's the question. Do they have enough offense? They made a lot of mistakes in that Ohio State game. They left a lot of points on the field. They dropped too many balls. Too many balls were dropped by the receivers. A lot of bonehead mistakes that could have kept them in the game. I mean, it wasn't like they was blown out in the first half. They just poor mistakes, undisciplined plays, and not securing the ball when the quarterback's throwing you. They left a lot of points out on that field against Ohio State. And I think with going back, watching the tape and seeing that they play Ohio State close. Don't let the score fool you. If you watch that game, Michigan State was containing Justin Fields. They was containing him. It didn't get out of control till late in the game where I felt like Michigan State just gave up. They was like, you know what? Whatever. This game is over. We had our chance. We didn't capitalize. This is what it is. We can't beat them. And it just let them do what they do. I feel like this game will be much closer than what everyone is thinking or even predicting. Jonathan Taylor is a good running back. Don't get me wrong, he's a good running back. But this plays in the stop. This is Michigan State's play style. They want you to line up. They want you to run the ball. I don't really have that much faith in Wisconsin throwing the ball. That's not their identity. That's not their identity. Although they can throw the ball, I still don't. That's not how they're going to win that game. I believe they're going to try to out physical Michigan State. I believe this game is going to be close, late fourth quarter, nail biting. I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan State pulls the upset. I'm just say that I would not be surprised if Michigan State pulls the upset. I mean, this is another regular Big Ten game. They know each other. Two physical teams. This plays into what Michigan State wants to do. You want to run the ball? All right, we accept the challenge. We accept your challenge, and we're going to line up, and we're going to stop you. This is their game. This is their game. This is their game. So I would not be surprised. Don't be surprised if Michigan State beats Wisconsin. But I believe it's going to be late fourth quarter. Wisconsin probably pulls it out, but would not be surprised if Michigan State, the Spartans, get one. I would not be surprised. Next, we got Penn State, Iowa. I haven't seen enough from Penn State to really be like Penn State is back. I feel like it's the same Penn State team that does what they do every year. They start out fast, and then middle of the year they start to fizzle out. Injuries or lack of focus or whatever it may be. It's the same Penn State team. I haven't seen anything that tells me this team is different. This team could contend for the East. This team could take the Big Ten. I haven't seen any of that. I like Iowa, even though Iowa has a loss. I like Iowa to rebound and get the W. It's not a lot that I like from Penn State. Penn State could have lost to Pitt. It's not a good look. I remember that game. They did blow out Maryland, but that was fool's gold. We all thought. I'm pretty sure we all thought Maryland was going to be a contender in the East. The way they was putting up points against Syracuse, but that quickly fizzled out. That quickly fizzled out. So I'm gonna go Iowa beating Penn State. I would give Penn State and the Lions a loss, but I think Iowa will win this game. It'll be a tough game, probably a low scoring game. But I'm gonna go with Iowa. Iowa taking that one, beating Penn State. Next, Notre Dame, USC. This game, in my head, I was hyping it up. In this game, I was hyping it up, and this was before USC had another loss. They was gonna be one. I was thinking they was gonna be 4-1. Oh yeah, 4-1 coming into Notre Dame. But things happened. They lost another game. Some injuries rolled up on them. They're now without their starting offensive lineman, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Injuries. Can the freshman wheel the Trojans to a victory in Notre Dame, in South Bend? Can they wheel them into a victory? I don't believe USC's defense is that good. I believe if I would put all my chips on that offense, but I just don't believe the defense is good. I'm not saying that goes to say like Ian Book is gonna light them up or anything, but I don't believe they will play a full 48-minute game and take care of business. I don't see that. If I had to go away, had to pick what type of game this would be, I would say it would probably turn into a shootout, and it probably wouldn't even be a shootout. I believe that the defense of Notre Dame is not being talked about enough. Right now, everyone's talking about N-Book. I was high on N-Book before the season started. I felt like if Notre Dame had a chance, it was going to be because of N-Book. And he hasn't really shown me very much. Yes, he did throw for 5 touchdowns against Bowling Green, but that was Bowling Green. Slow start against Georgia. Still look kind of jittery in that game. The defense kept them in that game. If we all going to be honest, the defense kept Notre Dame in that game. The offense didn't look that good. They had the touchdown because of a fumble on special teams by Georgia that gave them the 7 points. Georgia taking their foot off the pedal mid fourth quarter, getting real conservative, even though they should have been trying to improve their offense. I didn't see very much from the offense from Notre Dame in that game against Georgia. Now, this is a big game. This is a rivalry game. Things can be different. And Book can come out and shine under the lights. USC is in town. The California, Hollywood people are going to be there in South Bend. This is going to be big time. This is going to be big time. Can Ian Book show that he can be that elite quarterback and maybe get Notre Dame into the playoffs? The rest of their schedule is set up pretty nice for them to take care of business, and if other teams lose, maybe Notre Dame can pop back in there. But they need to have stellar quarterback play from their quarterback. I feel like the defense is very good for Notre Dame. Like I said, they held Georgia. Georgia started off very slow, and that was, I have to give credit to the Notre Dame's defense. Notre Dame defense is what's keeping them in these games. They're playing very good, playing very good. The first game of the year, Louisville defense was getting gashed a little bit, but they didn't break. They didn't break. So I was hyped up about this game, but not so much. Seeing how they have 2 losses now, they're 3-2. That doesn't look too good. They got a bunch of injuries on offense. I don't think they're solid on defense. I feel like Notre Dame will win this game 31-10. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a score for that one. 31-10. Notre Dame, and that will just ramp up the talks about can Notre Dame get into the playoffs. That's just going to ramp up the talks. Can Notre Dame get into the playoffs with 1 loss? We don't know. We'll see. They're going to need some help. They're going to need some help. They're going to need some help. Next, we got Florida LSU. Florida LSU game. I was going back and forth with this one. Florida LSU. LSU defense. We're not used to seeing LSU put up points. No one is used to seeing LSU put up points. We're also not used to seeing Florida with a quarterback since Tim Tebow. It's been that long since Florida had a quarterback. We're not used to that. Florida's defense is a lot better than LSU's defense. And that's crazy to say because LSU has been the most dominant defensive team in the SEC for a long time. Like they've always had those players. They've always been able to draft takes a whole bunch and they just reload. Boom. Well, here's another top 10, top 5, top 10, whatever defense. Here it is. Boom. They've always been able to do that. LSU's defense is not that good. DBU, far from that. Far from that. Florida, they have a good defense, but they're very undisciplined. A lot of reckless penalties. And you can say that about the offense. That team is undisciplined, and I guess that you have to chalk that up to being a young team. First time quarterback out there. I don't know, but watching Florida play, they look pretty decent offensively. With Trask being the quarterback, look a lot better than Felipe being back there. I seen the game against Miami, and that game was just. It's like who wanted to win that game? Who really wanted it? You didn't know. You couldn't tell by all the dumb penalties and the dumb plays that were being drawn up. Like, is this game going to end? It was like that. In this game, Florida and LSU, I don't believe it's going to be a shootout. I believe it's going to be like 24-28, somewhere around that number. I don't know who to give the 28 to. LSU lost last year to Florida, in Florida, off some bad plays, turnovers. Will that be the same way this year? I'm gonna go Florida loses. Oh, that didn't even sound right. That didn't even feel right. I'm gonna say LSU loses. I'm going back and forth, guys. If you haven't watched these teams, you don't understand the struggle right now. If you haven't seen them play, it's tough. Because LSU is good offensively. They also gave up 30 some odd points to Vanderbilt. They gave up 30 some odd points to Vanderbilt. Florida last week against Auburn. It looked like they could have gave that game away. Let's go 31-28. LSU wins at home. I'm going to give it to LSU because they're playing at home. It's going to be at night. Death Valley's going to be rocking. They probably going to have the Richter scale out there. Probably they're going to feel an earthquake. I feel like LSU will win this game. LSU can't lose this game. They can't they can't lose this game because they hoping that if they lose to Alabama, they can still get into the playoffs with that one loss. But if they lose this game and then down the road, lose to Alabama, they're done. I don't see a two loss SEC team getting into the playoffs. So I must say LSU wins this game 31-28. Probably a field goal or maybe even a touchdown from an interception from Trash, just like how it happened last year in Florida. So roles reverse. LSU wins at home at night. So that's where I'm going. But those are the big games that I am watching, that I'm paying attention to. That Penn State Iowa game could definitely have some very big implications in the Big Ten if Penn State loses to Iowa, uh, especially if Michigan State takes care of Wisconsin. That's gonna throw the Big Ten West into some type of frenzy. Right now, I think it's a two-team race in the Big Ten West. Penn State doesn't have a loss in the Big Ten. I still feel like Ohio State is the team to beat. Michigan is still lurking around somehow, but it's going to be very interesting. We should definitely see some games these upcoming weeks carry a lot of weight. You should definitely be seeing the pressure on some of these games in the upcoming weeks. So, especially since the first couple 5 weeks, it's been kind of light. It's been very light in college football, so it definitely should pick up. The pressure and the intensity should definitely be picking up. So let's go ahead and rock and roll into the NFL predictions. Last week, I gave my predictions. I came out with five. Was that five? 5 wins. Kansas City should have been a 1, but I didn't get that one. Tampa Bay, New Orleans. That should have been 1. Atlanta and Houston. Houston blew out Atlanta. I had Atlanta winning that because they needed a W. They needed a win and they didn't even get it. I didn't even pick the Arizona Cincinnati game. I said that was going to be a tie because they're just horrible. Both teams are. Jacksonville, Carolina. That was a good game. Carolina won. But everything else I was on point. So I got 5 wins. So let's see if we can do better. Starting off, we got Carolina, Tampa Bay. Kyle Allen, still the quarterback. He's feeling himself, got that momentum. Cam Newton probably lost his starting position. Cam Newton probably have lost his starting job. So I'm going to go with Tampa Bay need a win. I'm going to go Carolina. I like what Kyle Allen is doing in Carolina. Christian McCaffrey. They're playing in London. I should probably revise that. Christian McCaffrey's kind of injured. You know what? He's a big part of their offense. Let's go ahead and switch that. I forgot about that little nugget. I forgot. Christian McCaffrey is injured, and they're playing in London. He's going to be cooped up on a flight all the way to London. It's going to be bad on his back, unless he's taking a boat. I mean, he's going to be super drugged up, numb, or whatever. I'm going to take Tampa Bay confidently, taking Tampa Bay to win that game. Jameis Winston. Cincinnati, Baltimore. Come on now, that's Baltimore. We got Seattle, Cleveland. A short week for Cleveland. Seattle. We got New Orleans and Jacksonville. I picked Jacksonville to win the AFC South, and right now they're struggling. I think Jalen Ramsey has been a distraction. He needs to just suit up and play football. Teddy Bridgewater, Minshew, Leonard Fournette, Kamara. Should I pick Jacksonville again? It'd be the time that I pick them or I don't pick them, they win that game. I'm going to pick New Orleans. New Orleans beats Jacksonville. Houston, Kansas City. Depending on how well Patrick Mahomes' ankle is. Is it broken? It's not broken. Is it swollen? Maybe. Is it tweaked? Did they tweak it? Can he put any weight on it? He didn't look that good against Indy at home. Though Sean Watson had a big game against Atlanta at home. This if KC was healthy, if Mahomes was healthy, this would probably be a shootout. I'm gonna go Houston. Houston wins this game. We got Miami, Washington. That's a gimme. Or maybe that should be a tie. 0-0. Case Keenum's gonna be playing. Haskins is the backup. Haskins should not be playing for the rest of the year. I've said this when they played the Giants. There was no reason to bring him in. He's not ready. Let him develop. Let him watch. Let him learn. Do not bring that man in. Let him learn the game. Let him learn the game. Miami should, Washington should win this game. Philadelphia, Minnesota, that should be a good game. Kirk Cousins, after they beat the Giants, I mean, that's not really saying very much, but they beat the Giants, but I'm going to go Philly. Atlanta, Arizona. Atlanta needs a win, man. If they don't win, they need to just go ahead and put Matt Ryan on the trading block and let him go. Start over, wipe the slate clean, and get someone else in there. Matt Ryan's not the answer. And I know a lot of people like, it ain't his fault. It's the defense. Well, you got to start somewhere. The game against Minnesota in week 1, they couldn't even put up any points. They couldn't even really put up any points. All them weapons that they got on that team, you telling me you can't at least score 30 and then blame the defense for allowing the team to come back? Come on now. It's Matt Ryan. He has to go. I'm not going to pick Arizona, though. So Atlanta wins that game. We got San Francisco and the LA Rams. San Francisco looking good. I like how San Francisco look. Jimmy Garoppolo. They got some speed within the running backs. Sherman looks re-energized. He's playing with some bite. Like he seems re-energized. I thought last year or the year before when he was at Seattle that he wasn't really out there playing, but he looks very energized. San Francisco, I like San Francisco. I'm gonna say San Francisco, even though the Rams need a win. I'm gonna go with San Francisco. We got Tennessee, Denver. Denver needs a win. Man, they need a win. Can they get one against Tennessee? It's cold out there. I'm going to go Tennessee. I'm going to go Tennessee. Pittsburgh and the Chargers. Mason Rudolph, Phillip Rivers. Wait, do we even know if Mason Rudolph is starting? I probably should have researched that one. I'm not even sure about that one. Not even sure. Melvin Gordon's back second week. Maybe he get a lot of work. Let's go Chargers. Chargers win that game. Yeah, Chargers win that game. We got Detroit and Green Bay. Detroit looks pretty decent. They should have had that victory against Arizona. That would have put them 3-1 instead of 2-1-1. Green Bay played a very good game against Dallas. They played a very good game against Dallas. Oh, man, that's tough. Detroit is pretty solid on defense. Matt Stafford looks pretty good. But I feel like Green Bay's clicking on offense now. And they're finding their stride on defense. Their defense has been solid all year long. So I know it's still early, people. Man, let's go Green Bay. At first I was thinking Detroit. I said I was gonna pick Detroit, but I flip flopped it. So I'm gonna go Green Bay. Green Bay. So hopefully, the week before I had six wins. This week I had 5. We can't get no worse than 5. We gotta improve. This has to be better. I think I picked some solid games. I picked some solid games this week. So yeah, that's what we're going with. So that will be the NFL talk. If you are watching this on Twitter, please go to this link right here. Let me go ahead and get this up for you guys. Um, www.facebook.com/STIPODCASCAST. Give that page a like, a follow, share it, comment, join the conversation. Um, the goal is to hit 500 before December is gone and before we get into 2020. So let's go ahead and get those numbers up to 500. Also, if you are on YouTube, go ahead and give this a subscribe, a like, join the conversation. Let me know how you feel about some of the things I've already pointed out. Watch some of the other videos. Like I said, I do community-based stuff, things that are affecting us in the community, whether it's locally or nationally. We talk about it. Trying to get some people to come on and have some debates about some of the things that is affecting us, or that might be bothering us, or that things that we see every day or whatever. So make sure you join the conversation there on YouTube. Join the conversation on the Facebook. Give me a follow on Twitter. I do follow back on Twitter. I definitely respond on Twitter. Not like some of those people that just be getting a whole bunch of followers or ignoring tweets or whatever. I definitely love the conversation about whatever we're talking about. So make sure you join in on that. And like I said, I mean, you see the headband. We working. We got some stuff planned. As I showed you earlier in the episode, you see that hashtag STIPODCAST. I'm the host. So go ahead and support. Join the conversation. We're doing some things. We are doing some things. I'm telling you, I'm excited. We're building momentum. It started off very slow, but now I feel like things are clicking and we're building some momentum. We got some things planned. So make sure you go ahead and like, share, comment, join the conversation. What else do I have? I think that's it. So I gave you my picks for college football. I gave you my picks for the NFL. So that's it for tonight, guys. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, don't be blinded by media. Don't be blinded by the media. Make sure you see through it. Do your research. Figure out why they saying that. Don't be blinded. See through it. Until next time, guys, I will talk to you later. Peace.